Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Amateur Golf Talk Live. I'm your host, Shan Coughlin, in the studio today with two very special guests. Sitting right next to me is the 2014 reigning current amputee national champion, Mr. Kenny Bontz. How are you?
Very good. Good morning.
And we also have his caddy with us, who I'm sure can tell some exciting stories, Mr. Bob Palumbo. How are you?
How you doing? Thank you.
We're doing great. Very exciting to have you in the studio because this has been something we've been trying to get the word out more and more. Just because, one, I can't believe I have a hard enough time playing golf on two able legs, but you are an amputee from
Yes.
above the knee. And if I'm reading this right, your lowest round is a 64.
Correct.
Wow. Hole in one?
Six
holes in one since you've been an amputee,
Yes.
though.
Yeah.
Six club championships, placed second and third two times in the Nationals,
Yep.
and won the National Amputee Golf Association Eastern Regional Tournament 5 times.
Correct. Yep.
All right, so that's impressive. That's very impressive. Let's go back a little bit, though, and talk a little bit about your story. It's quite inspiring. You are a cancer survivor.
Yes, I am. Ewing sarcoma at 19.
Wow.
Diagnosed, had some leg pain. They did a biopsy on my leg, and it came back as a bone infection. It was
Okay.
misdiagnosed. About a month later, it blew back up. When I went in, they did another biopsy and found a tumor in my bone. So I went through pretty extensive chemotherapy for about a year and a half. They did they took my tibia out, proximal tibia, down just about 3 inches above my ankle, all the way up into the knee joint. Took it out, put a cadaver bone in. Non-weight bearing for a year and a half, 13-hour surgery. And finally I was able to get out and walk. And it took me a while to learn how to walk again. Started coaching little kids in soccer because I always played soccer. And clowning around with them, a kid, 8-year-old, kicked me in my shin, not just messing around, and broke the bone. Went back in, had another surgery. I ended up getting 6 of them in about a total of 14 years.
Wow.
And through that, the pain got wicked bad. It was very hard to walk, and got addicted to pills and alcohol pretty severe, to the point of like 30 to 50 Vicodin a day for about 6 years, to fill it up with booze on top of it. I mean, you learn to all the connections when you're doing it, what helps you.
Right.
And I got to a point where I ran a company. I owned a printing company, and I had 53 employees, and I was making decisions pretty much cracked out all the time.
Wow.
And they were relying on my decisions. And I said to my wife, I said, I need to do something. Decided to take it off, and it was the best thing I ever did.
And when you say take it off, you mean your leg?
Yes. Yep. I
Wow.
met with my surgeon. He wanted to do the surgery again, and I'm also a diabetic. So at that point in my life, I
Wow.
said, at 36, 35, I said, how long am I going to be able to heal like I do, I did? So I decided to take it off and never look back. Best decision I ever made. I've been clean. I'll have a beer here and there, but
Right.
I don't drink anything like I used to.
Right.
I enjoy it now. There's things I used to take for granted,
Right.
and those days are long gone.
So I'm going back. I have a 20-year-old. So you're 19
Yep.
when your first diagnosis, and then over the course of the next 6-7 years, you have all these surgeries, and just the pain doesn't go away.
No, it gets extremely worse. No one knew really what I was going through other than my wife.
Wow.
My parents didn't. When I told my parents I was going to take my leg off, because I was an athlete growing up.
Right.
My father had a really hard time with it. My mother stayed with me the whole time through everything.
Right.
My father had a really hard time with it, but now he sees where I'm at and what I've accomplished. I'm traveling the world, playing golf all over the world.
Yeah.
And I would never have been able to do this if I didn't make the decision I made. I didn't make it to play golf.
Right.
I made it to better my life.
Right. Well, with the addictions there,
Yeah.
it makes sense. And did the pain stop almost immediately?
I still have phantom pain, which I didn't know what that was. I heard about it. I read about it. But until you get it, my ankle will hurt, and I don't have an ankle. And the pain is pretty extreme. But mentally, I'm pretty strong, so I know it's going to go away. It's not like it's going to never leave.
Right.
And it'll last for a day or two, sometimes 3 days. You know, it just comes in spurts, but it's amazing.
Still that long.
Well, your
though.
brain still knows your aura is there, your leg is still there, so to speak. But
Right.
It's even though it's not.
That's amazing. You know, they talk about the power of the mind and
Yes.
the power, but this is firsthand. That's an amazing. I mean, I'm thinking 3 days of pain on a piece of your body that doesn't
exist. Yeah.
That would freak me out. I mean, that would be enough to.
Well, playing in
oh my gosh.
amputee golf,
Right.
I mean, you have people with arms below the elbow,
Right.
above the elbow. You have people below the knee, above the knee. You have doubles. I
Right.
mean, you have people that have been in motorcycle accidents that have an arm and 2 legs missing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like they say, if I put my shoes into the circle and I'm going to wear somebody else's, I'm going to wear mine. Mine aren't that bad. You know, I'll
Yeah.
take mine back.
Yeah.
Because you
Wow.
hear, and it's a good peer group. I mean, I started playing in
Absolutely.
this in these amputee terms, Eastern Regionals. I got in touch with Bob Buck, and you know, he helped me out tremendously when I first started to talk to him. And I asked him, you know, how people walk around, and he said, "Come on out to a tournament and check it out."
And check it out. Yeah.
And when I went out there, I met people that have, you know, been through it 10, 15, 20 years, and they know everything I'm going through. They've all been there. And it's funny because now you have the new kids coming up, and I'm older now, so I'm like the guy. Some people ask, you know, have you ever had this? Have you ever had that? And it's good to be able to explain to them, yeah, I have, and you know, we can walk you through it. And it's a great peer group. I mean, no one's had a problem that you're not going through. Everyone's had it.
Wow. That's got to be a sense of relief.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
It's huge.
So now, did you play golf prior to?
I did, but like my friends used to tell me, and Bobby played with me, you never knew what you were going to get depending on how I was feeling. I mean, I
Okay.
played pretty extreme golf. I mean, I always played in state events in New Jersey and stuff. But I had to walk, and it was, you know, it was pill after pill after beer after beer.
Okay.
And I mean, you could get a great Kenny, you could get a miserable Kenny. I mean, and you more or less got the miserable one most of the time. And I would have my meltdowns, and who doesn't have meltdowns playing golf?
Yeah.
But when you're kind of at the place where I was, you know, with the pills and the booze, it becomes pretty violent, you know, and you never know what you're going to get.
Now, Bob, when did you first start hanging out with Kenny?
I guess we started hanging out about 1998, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kenny moved on our block, and you know, I was friends with actually his wife before Kenny, and she's like, "Hey, my husband plays golf too, or my boyfriend plays golf too. He's pretty good. You should play with him." Then we started playing, and he is good.
Okay.
But I think it was a great decision on Kenny's part. I mean, he had pain, severe pain,
Right.
You know, with the weather coming in and the way it affected his leg, and he was just in a lot of pain. So when he took the leg off, sure, it took him a while to get back, but I think he's a better golfer now than he ever was.
Well, apparently,
Yeah,
based
yeah,
on the
It's
based on
amazing.
the accolades.
If you can play pain-free, I mean, it's amazing
It makes a
how
difference.
easier it is, yeah, to think and to do things.
So, what was the one thing? Because you've seen him on both sides now, and so you caddy for him
Yep.
now, which I think is pretty cool.
Yep.
So, what was the one time maybe, or the one thing when you said, "Oh my gosh, this is going to work. This is going to be awesome."
Well, I think what's happened with Kenny is he calmed down a lot. Like we said previously, he used to get very violent, throw clubs and stuff like that. You know, prior to this, he's just a relaxed golfer now.
Yeah.
He's really got a great sense of the game of golf and you know what his role and responsibilities are with having this the issues. But I just think he's an overall better person and a better player.
Well, and you know, we talk about this game a lot, and we try to. You know, give credit where credit's due. This game does so much for so many charities and so many just
Absolutely.
people. And you and I were even talking about earlier the folks who have been in the situation who didn't play golf
Yep.
previously, and really golf was the one saving, or the salvation for them and even their lives. Met a couple people playing out in the long drive championship that were in that situation, and the stories are unbelievable. So we really want to get the word out that there are places you can go to not only play if you started playing, but also learn how to play. And this is something pretty exciting that you're becoming involved in, right?
Yep.
So talk a little bit about that.
Me
And we have to name drop, okay? So Chad Pfeiffer, who's playing on the Big Break, first
Yep.
amputee playing on the Big Break, so a good friend of yours.
Yes.
And so he's involved in this too. So we're totally going to take advantage of the media name dropping here. But talk about the people involved in what y'all are doing.
Adam Benza is another amputee below the knee involved. Kelly Valentine, she's below the elbow, or she might be above the elbow. I forget now.
Okay.
But
arm amputee.
Yeah, and we're trying to get, like, Chad and I are both above the knee, same leg. Adam's below the knee, so we have a pretty good gamut. The only thing needing is a double amp.
Okay.
But you know, there's a select few of them. You know, it's hard to find, you know, a double amp because there's not many, but there are.
Right. Well, the winner of the long drive champion.
Yeah, Jared Brents.
Was
Yeah,
double amputee.
Yep.
Amazing. Okay.
Unbelievable how far he hits a golf ball.
400 and some yards. I forget how much it was.
But the four of us started a company called Moving Forward, and we're gonna, it's gonna open up hopefully real soon. I mean, we're getting the board of directors together now, and we're gonna launch a website soon, and we're gonna travel around the country. First, I don't know if we're going to travel around the world eventually, but hopefully it branches out that far because it's not just the U.S. where people are going through this. And we're going to, you know, help physically challenged people get off the couch, so to speak, and you know, play golf. It's just if you're missing a limb or something, you can be very hard on yourself, and it can, you know, you can sit back and choose to watch when you shouldn't. You shouldn't live life with a limitation. There are no limitations. Do what you want to do, and we can push these people to get out. Right. And play golf and do things. It's not just golf either. We're all golfers, but you can play tennis. You can play whatever you want, but they might need that push to get them going.
To start something.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of companies out there that are helping. I mean, I know one of your sponsors is the Prosthetics in Motion.
Yes.
Got to show off the little shirt here. And there's several companies involved. I know Anthony Netto with the Stand Up and Play Foundation has helped even someone here in town get the golf mobile, you know, to help them around the golf course.
The solo rider?
Well, it's not a solo rider. It's actually called a golf mobile.
Okay.
And they sit in it. It'll actually stand them up.
Oh, wow.
Yes, very cool. And there's ways that you can apply for grants and, you know, even raise private funds to get those. But I know a lot of companies are also donating and at least making things affordable and trying to help people who are trying to be active. When we were out in Mesquite, we saw, like you were saying, in the long drive championships, the double amputees, the triples, and they had a quad participate for the first time, which was amazing to see. And you're right. They said it was someone who showed them there was something out there. So I think the Moving Forward company, the concept is awesome because you guys just don't hit on the driving range. You actually go out and play. I mean, y'all are playing the full 18 holes.
Oh, yeah.
Which, you know, like you said, either way is great. I know they're up in Richmond, Virginia. There's a group working with the VA there and has several clinics to get folks out on the golf course. So I know there's a big push. Like you said, it's becoming very popular. Now, you've traveled to Japan. You traveled to South Africa and played even last year. You've got several other tournaments coming up around the world. What is the reaction around the world to golfers, amputee golfers, and so forth?
Every tournament, I went to Australia 2 years ago, Sweden, and everywhere I've gone, I mean, Sweden is more disability golf. It's not just amputee. That was my first kind of taste of that. Okay. Where you have people out there that, you know, might have polio in their arm or something where they can't, you know, they still have their arm, but it's non-usable. Okay. So that's kind of where Paralympics is going. It's disabled golf, where the U.S. is more amputee golf, and that's what I'm used to. So when you travel around the world and you see all these different guys, it's great to meet them, great to play with them, because you're all on the same level. I mean, it's you're struggling with something, you need to, you know, push past it. But there's so many great golfers all over this world. I mean, and yeah, we have the biggest tournament in the States with the U.S. Nationals, and people come from all over the world to play in it. Japan, they come from Canada. I mean, there's so much talent. It's unbelievable. But, you know, the people that are out there helping each other and doing what we have to do, it's just great. It's, you know, you meet so many people. You know, I went to Australia, and there's a guy, Woody Walker. He came over to the U.S. to play, and he said to me, and I had just met him, he goes, if you ever want a chance to play in Australia, come over and play. You can stay with me. And I'm like, I don't even know this guy, and he's offering up his house to me. Right. So I decided to go play, and I rang him up, and we're like great friends now. We talk on Facebook.
That's awesome.
And it's just, you meet people that become lifetime friends that I never would have ever thought that this would have grown into what it's been. So many good friends, and you know, you talk to them all the time, and to see what Chad's doing is absolutely amazing. He's got a great story, and he's a wounded vet, you know, and what he's doing now with golf, only playing golf for 8-9 years. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, because he was one that did not play golf prior to his injury.
Never picked up a club, he said.
Wow.
And then after his injury, I mean, he was making a decision that was going to affect his life as far as he wasn't happy with the way his life was going. And his story, somebody grabbed him in one of the hospitals he was in and said, let's play some golf when you get better. And he picked it up, and that rehab turned him into, look what he's done with it.
Wow.
I mean, you talk about taking your heart, your hand and playing it out. I mean, you're playing with the cards you're dealt, and he made a royal flush out of it. I mean,
Absolutely.
And you can see the guys on Big Break that he's sending. I mean, you pick him in a challenge, you need your head examined because he's proven it that,
Yeah.
he's
Over
going to send you packing, yeah.
That's
it's
amazing.
great to see. It's awesome.
It is really, I mean, your story is inspirational. We just really want to let people know that there's hope out there and that there is something that you can do. There are people there that have been through what you're going through, and that there are places that you can have an outlet. And
Sure.
golf is an awesome sport to even pick up post accident, post illness.
No matter what your disability is, I mean, I choose golf as my media, so to speak, because it's just what I've gotten into. But, I mean, you can go on the website, whatever town you live in, whatever state you live in, and Google, amputee golf. And
Right.
you could just meet people, go out to these clinics that they hold. And Bob Buck up in the eastern part of the United
Right.
States, he's done it for years. And you'll meet people that play golf and people that just want to come out and talk to people. But it's good to go out and explain your story and see others that might have what you have.
Right.
If I can get a little kid that's 5, 6, 7 years old that thinks something's, life's throwing him a curveball and he's above the knee or he's below the knee, whatever the case may be, and he doesn't think he can do anything, if I can get him up to play golf or to go out and do anything, it's, that makes it, one guy helping one person makes it all worthwhile.
Get him to play.
Yeah.
Let's get him to play.
Anything.
Have
You can't
some
let it
fun.
hold you back. It's
Absolutely
it.
not. What an inspiration. Gentlemen, I so appreciate you coming in today, sharing your story. Hope and pray this will not be the last time
Oh, never.
that we do
And
this.
Chris Court,
Yes.
Prosthetics in Motion, I got to throw him a bone.
Absolutely.
He's made my leg, my golf leg, so to speak. I use it every day, but without him, I wouldn't be where I'm at. He's phenomenal. He's in Manhattan. If anybody wants to play golf up in that area or
Right.
needs some love, he's unbelievable. He thinks outside the box.
All right, and we'll
And-
put that in. A lot of people are listening on apps and
Okay.
not looking at us. If you're on thegolfdirector.com, you can actually click the TV tab and see us as well, and we'll have this running in the loop, and so definitely check it out. We'll put the links to all of these great sites, including your website, on the written part, so you can check it out on
Okay.
thegolfdirector.com. Gentlemen, thank you so
Thank
much
you
Thanks
for
for
coming
having
and
us,
sharing
yeah.
us. This edition of Amateur Golf Talk Live has been produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When visiting the Golf Director, be sure to check out our featured golf course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, and much more. If you need help with your next golf vacation, and tweet #JustCallDave, #JustCallDave, or give us an actual call at 844-GO-GOLF1. That's 844-464-6531. All of our TGD programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand, so to catch up on a show you may have missed, click on the TGD Radio and TGD TV tabs in the menu at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1 billion devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Blueberry, and the Myrtle Beach Golf app. This is Shan Coughlin, and on behalf of our guests today, Mr. Kenny Bontz and Mr. Bob Palermo, our producer behind the glass, Mr. Jeff, we appreciate you for tuning in. There's more TGD golf news and information coming up next, so don't go anywhere.